excuses.
3 times a week.
Go ahead, guys, dig in. Let's see what you think. Are you ready? Hey, what's up, guys? It's Eric Selvian, Fitness, Food, and Fashion. I'm here today with Rick Whitaker. We're at his house, and we're going to talk about some serious subjects. And what's going on with you, Rick?
Well, I'm just kind of laid up with a little bit of cancer.
Yes, a little bit of cancer. So you were a client of mine. We actually met you walking through the park here in the neighborhood. You joined Hyperion Fitness. You were already, how much weight had you lost?
I'd actually dropped 100 pounds prior to.
Wow, 100 pounds. And yeah, we saw you walking your dogs every day, and I had to say something to you one day and just say, you know, keep going, and I want to hear that weight loss every week. And finally you came in and joined us, started working out and actually really kicking butt. We put you on a team with a couple of guys, JR and Jay.
Right.
Yeah. Started kicking butt, and then tell us what happened after you said you started having the pain in your foot.
Well, actually, I started out with a blister on the heel that actually occurred last year, December, a year ago.
Okay.
It just never healed. And, you know, a blister on your heel, you always expect it to heal, but it's in a bad place, so maybe it takes longer.
Yeah.
And so I kept procrastinating on it. And then I decided to join Hyperion Fitness, and then it started becoming more annoying and stuff. And so I guess into September I finally went in and talked to the doctor.
Okay. And what was the...
Well, he took one look, and he didn't like what it looked. Now, that's the other thing, too. I can't really see the balls of my feet that well, the heel.
Okay.
And, he said right off that it's not looking good. And he made a test and then a biopsy on it. And first came back was MRSA, which is a nasty thing. And then the biopsy came back with melanoma cancer.
Wow. Wow. And what was your first reaction when you found that out?
First reaction? Yeah, it was a blubbering bowl of Jell-O.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, whoa, that can't be. Those words don't go with me.
Right.
Yeah, not in my description.
Right.
No, not at all.
And just a little background, just when we met you and you started working out with us, and you have probably one of the best attitudes thus far that we've ever seen. And I mean, you come in there, you know, and what was your starting weight when you got to Hyperion?
When I got to Hyperion, my whole story is that I lost 100 pounds, but then I quit drinking and I supplemented with sugar.
Okay.
And so the weight crept back up.
Okay.
And so I came in, I was over 400 pounds starting.
Okay.
And it's just...
What was your heaviest?
My heaviest was about 450.
450, okay.
Yeah, and that's just crazy. So, yeah, I'm turning 60. You know, I want to make the last years the best years. So,
good.
You know, I make that decision, and I knew that just cutting weight and cutting the alcohol wasn't going to cut it. So, I wanted the exercise too. You got to use the muscles to keep the muscles. Is what I figured.
Exactly.
And and then walking around the park, keep getting encouraged by you and your crew. Yeah, that pretty much started it too.
Yeah.
So I joined up.
Just your attitude, like I was saying before, that overall attitude of you coming in and just, I mean, people were gravitating towards you, and everyone's very nice and helpful and things like that. But it's crazy to see someone so your age, 59, and then your size.
My size.
You're a big guy. You know, you come in, you're putting in the work. So then people are saying, well, if he can do it, I got to do it. You know, we had that one day in the park where you ran that whole loop around the park and everybody joined in with you, and it was like a kind of a changing moment in our neighborhood around here because that video went live, and it was one of those things where so many people could really attach themselves to you and that feeling and that that thing. But your personality and your attitude is amazing. You come in and you're just ready to work.
That moment was, you were going to have them line up on the shorter route back, and so I went ahead and
did the whole thing.
And then I wanted them to work with me, so that was why I took off running. Now there again, that was the first, it wasn't even a quarter of a mile. It was pretty small, but that was the most I had ran for years.
Yeah.
And years, and it was of course, a little bit too far.
A little bit too far. It was a little too far, yeah.
Should have started a little bit later, but the moment caught up with me.
Yeah. Sometimes you get in the moment and you just, you got kind of go with it.
Yeah, and you want to challenge the people around you too.
Yes.
So
yes. And that's the thing you've done really well with just, being supportive and things like that. So now fast forwarding to where you're at now, you found out about the MRSA, the melanoma, and now what? So how are we doing?
Well, you just got to let your body heal.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not quitting. You said, I'm still part of the Hyperion team.
Yeah, always, always.
So yeah, it's a matter of, well, it's got to take time. Now it's time dribbles. It's slow, but no, I'll get back there.
And I know for many people, all of us out there that are athletes, that are active people, even if you're not an athlete, I'd say anybody who can move and exercise is an athlete. But to go from moving all the time, and I mean, you've walked your dogs every single day, which is a big deal to them as well to you. But to now, be sedentary for a little bit because you got to let your body heal. That's probably one of the hardest
8 days
things.
in the hospital was horrible.
Yes.
I mean, it was, yeah, no, and that's kind of the challenge is because the room gets smaller, this house gets smaller.
Yeah.
And it's, you can only watch TV so much.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. So no, that is the hardest part. The staying in a hospital though is just, oh man, and hard to say. I mean, I know people probably been in there for a lot longer than 8 days straight.
Yeah.
But
it took a toll on you.
It did. But there again, you just got to keep it up. I mean, I can't say I was the best patient. I was a tad grumpy a few days where I had to starve waiting for my turn in the OR.
Yeah.
Because that too, they schedule you, and if you don't have a real serious issue, you'll get bumped.
Yes.
So yeah, one day I was supposed to go in at 3 and didn't get in there until about midnight.
Oh wow.
And and I had quit eating earlier in the morning and quit drinking water earlier in the morning.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And they don't tell you anything; they just kind of let you go and go and go. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, there I was a little bit, and then I was a little bit worried about the people working on me.
Yeah.
I asked especially the anesthesiologist how long he had been working, and he had been working since 7 a.m. and here I'm in there at midnight.
Wow. But
he joked. He said he ate his Snickers bar at 5, and not a problem. And it wasn't a problem. It was just you get knocked out and you wake. About the time they knock you out, you start waking up. It seems like.
So you have how big would you say that on the bottom of your foot?
It's bigger than a good old-fashioned silver dollar.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more than what I thought they would take out.
Okay.
When they took that out, that was the source of the melanoma cancer. They said the fringe was clean, which is a big plus, because if it wasn't clean, then they were going to remove more, and I can't even imagine that now.
Yeah.
They also took out lymph nodes that first time, and then one of the lymph nodes showed cancer in it.
Okay.
So I'm going to have some follow-up.
Okay.
I actually had 4 trips to the OR. The second one was just to clean the wound a little bit because I don't know the technical term. It has to granulate or something so that they can do the skin graft on it. Went back in. The third time was for the skin graft. They took a patch of my thigh and put it on down there. Okay. Which was another totally weird thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then on the last time was to go back in and they did more lymph nodes.
Okay.
Removals, which all turned clean. So
that's good news.
Yeah, real good news. Yeah. It's beyond the foot, but it's barely beyond. So I see an oncologist on Wednesday, and from there they decide what to do next. Yeah. And from what I know, there's lots of different chemos and therapies nowadays. It's not the old-fashioned lose your hair.
No.
Stuff.
Lots of different methods.
They even have a pill for them.
Okay.
And it could be that I don't do anything but just be monitored.
Okay.
You go in every 4 times a year and have certain things done.
Okay.
To it, so it's just part of it. You gotta fight. Now I was turning 60 and I knew I wanted to change my life. And I just didn't realize I was gonna have to fight to stay alive.
And I say this to people every single day, and we have obviously when we're younger in our 20s and 30s, even 40s, where it's more about vanity. You know, it's
Yeah.
everyone wants to look good in a bikini or in a bikini. Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But you know, it's more about the vanity side. And I always, for me, you know, my mother, she had 2 heart attacks. So I hit 40, and I said to myself, every day I exercise is another day that I'm going to give to myself for life. You know, it's keeping my heart stronger and things
True.
like that. And I try to remind people that's what it's really all about. You know, it's.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I should have started when I hit the 50 mark, to tell you the truth, because I waited too long. You know, my job is at a desk, and so it's sedimentary, and I don't get the exercise and stuff. And yeah, I do like to eat, and it put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was an athlete in college, and my last year of competition that I was eligible for, I did the same thing. I called it a senior run. I just started working out as hard as I could to make the most of my last year of competition.
Yeah.
So I call this my senior run while I'm being a senior.
What sport did you play in high school?
I was a wrestler in college.
Oh, okay.
And then I was a football player, of course, in high school, a little bit in college.
Awesome.
But I was a collegiate wrestler for
What high school?
Hemet, and then I went ahead and wrestled at Cal State Fullerton for them up until, gosh, 78, thereabout.
Okay.
You know, as many years as I could, eligibility.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the pain of when you were in the hospital, coming out of the hospital and things like that. So obviously pain meds you had to take, right?
Yep, they opiates. I forget the actual Norcos.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Are the ones that I was taking, the ones that were prescribed. I actually had morphine in me too, which that is not very pleasant either.
Yeah.
If it killed the pain, then I must have been in a lot of pain because it still hurt.
Yeah.
Even though they had that shot in me
You
through an IV.
You have a pretty high pain tolerance?
Actually, yeah, I do have a very high pain tolerance.
Okay.
Because it felt like a nail. The foot feels like there's a nail in it all the time. Now, when you get stuck with a nail, it hurts going in and it hurts coming out.
Yeah.
But in between, it's that dull, numbing pain. And yeah, you can kind of mentally take it. But in the hospital, yeah, they're quick to give you the pain meds. They ask you, the good old 1 to 10, which is like, what do you want to be? 1 to 10. You want to try to be honest, but then you don't want to be a dope fiend.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an 8. No. Yeah. So I'm always an averaging of 3 and 4. And then they give you the same dosage, really, no matter what.
How did that feel? I mean, did it?
Again, no, I didn't get any kind of a mental change.
Okay.
I know these kind of drugs are used with alcohol, and people take them, but then they take them by the handful. It seems, from what I hear, it didn't give me that kind of a change in mentally, but it did affect you. It makes you constipated, which is a big problem, and it also affects your nose and stuff. It kind of felt like I was having allergies the whole time, which is pretty annoying. I didn't like them, but then again, you come out of there and you want to be sure you have enough. See, they're real restrictive. They'll give you enough for 10 days. And the laws are now that you have to go back to the doctor and get another prescription. And the doctors will give you 10, but then they don't make up another appointment for you to come back in 10 days.
So that drop-off point.
So there's a drop-off point. And so you have to then go back and call them to go in there just for pain meds if you still are in pain.
Yeah.
And there again, even the pharmacy is real strict on dealing these out.
So that transition time was hard then, huh?
Oh, yeah. Once I hit the drop-off, didn't bother warning me about that 1 iota either, because as soon as you quit doing them, you have about a couple days. If you've been on them for, around the clock, 4 to 6 hours a pill, then you stop, and you get that a real rusty, lousy feeling.
Yeah.
And it does that for a couple days. At least it did for me.
Yeah.
Before it finally wore off. But then, everything else comes back. My nose starts clearing up.
Yeah.
Everything my body functions come back.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Yeah, it was very strange. I'm kind of surprised that the medical profession doesn't realize more about those a little bit. I know they're real worried how addictive they can be, and I guess they are very addictive, because I wouldn't have had that reaction at all. In fact, if I had access, I probably would have taken them in that day that I was quitting, because I was feeling so crappy.
Yeah,
I just didn't have them.
And that's typically the
reaction.
The issue with it. You come off of them, and then you have to go back on because you start feeling so bad.
You don't feel good, and it's not necessarily because of the pain that you were originally taking them for.
No, the drugs are actually sometimes worse than the actual pain.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a withdrawal,
and
that was surprising. You know, yes, I did recreational drugs in my youth, and but never had a reaction quite like that. Even with alcohol, I didn't have a withdrawal like that at all. So that was a shocker, you know.
So what's next in as far as medically with you? And
well, medically, I've got a shoe that I get to wear probably in the first of the year that once I can put some weight on it. It's designed to put my weight forward on the balls of my feet and off the heel. Now they already give a warning on the shoe that you're not supposed to drive with it on. Now, right foot, gas pedal. I'm still kind of hosed up on that. That's the thing I hate the most, is not having freedom to drive anywhere on my own. I see the oncologist on Wednesday, and from there, you know, I really don't know. You know, you hear about chemotherapies and all this kind of stuff. I started doing a little bit of research, you know, on the internet and reading up, but that stuff, you start getting into self-diagnosis, and that really does a mental trip on you.
It does. And you know what? I think we'll actually ask the viewers out there to, there's a lot of people who've gone through this and have done a lot of research, and a lot of people that are going to see this, and they'll actually post on this, and we want you guys to post on this to give him as much you know, information as possible, because I think it's really tough. This is the first time you've ever gone through something like this.
The first time, the reason why I quit reading is because they said like stage 3 is where it's in your lymph nodes. Well, okay, it showed up on lymph nodes. Who wants to be stage 3? I want to be stage 1.
Right.
You know. And so that's kind of like, but yet it was so 1 of 7 lymph nodes, you know, so I don't know. So basically there, it's, again, I stay away from it. I'll wait, I'll talk to the doctor. You know, they get a lot of advice, seeing 2 opinions, and that kind of stuff. So it depends on what she says. You know, maybe I'll do that. But I don't know for sure. At all. So it's just, I'll go and listen.
Well, since I've known you, you're a fighter. I mean, you don't give up.
I don't quit. Once I start, I hate to quit, and that's the reason why I was disappointed in myself, because I was afraid everybody's thinking I just quit coming, and I don't like to quit. I didn't want anybody thinking I was quitting.
They did.
You know?
I made sure they do. They knew.
Yeah.
You were doing fantastic. I mean, you lost a bunch of weight while you were there.
I lost a bunch of weight, even though I can't do a lot of the exercises. You know, that was always a challenge for me in the park and in your studio, just because of my weight size. It prohibited me from doing some of the things everybody else could do. And then, you know, that is embarrassing a little bit, but you blank it out because you got to do it. You got to get going. And that's the one thing I've always told people, is it's usually in your head. And I tell people, when we're in a group setting, the exercises are pretty rigorous. So the people they're doing their own thing. They're not focusing on you. So once you get over it in your own head, that's it. And that's all. There's always modifications for everything, and you know, you have to do what your body can do. And that's it. Yeah, and you advised on that too. I mean, I did laugh a lot, being, you know, twice as old and twice as big. But then, so what? You know, and you're a motivation, and I just got to do it. Either I'm gonna if I don't do it, then quality of life is gonna go down the drain. And that's I love how you think like that. That's fantastic. So that's pretty much the motivation factor. This is a little bit of hiccup in it, but who knows? Maybe it's just another thing that's got to make me more of a challenge. So what are we doing about eating right now? Like I said, I got food. My sister, who can't be up here, is having food catered, balanced. Cool. You know, so I am eating, probably eating better than I normally would. Well, that's a good thing, right? Yeah, it is a good thing. Okay. Like I was joking with you earlier, being in the hospital and them getting me on a cardio diet, that was just 4 days of that was awful. So I was eating everything on the plate.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't much on the plate. But yeah, I mean, again, that's just what you have to do. And now that I have to be very careful because it's like, okay, I'm sick.
Yeah.
I'm in bed. I got a reason to pity myself so I can go ahead and have the comfort food that you can't have, you shouldn't have. And I've got to really catch myself doing that. And with a wound like this, it's high protein. You got to have high protein to build that muscle back up. And sugar is about the worst.
Totally.
Unprocessed sugar is going to be the worst for me. And so I have to, again, mentally cut out that stuff out that I would normally love to intake on it. That's another big challenge. And it's a lot. If you see the pictures, there's actually a lot of tissue that has to regrow.
Yes.
Even though I can't imagine people that lose bigger chunks of their body. That has to be just amazing how long it must take.
And you're not diabetic.
No, I'm not. No. I've always was below it.
Okay.
Again, that was a kind of a eye opener because they said first of all, your age, when you get to our age, my age, at 60, you are more prone to diabetes. Once you go into surgery, you'll go in. They warned me right off the bat that it's you're a pre-diabetic, and so they were monitoring my blood sugar just about every 4 hours, easily, probably more than that. Thinking about it, because they were pricking all my fingers, just every few hours to make sure. And I guess that's another thing to make sure, because that would prohibit the growth, and so they were very concerned about that. But I wasn't. I was always down, except for that one piece of chocolate cake that snuck into me, which ruined the whole graph, and probably kept me on that crappy-ass diet.
Yeah. Well, I think that looking forward, and that's why I always say just look forward now of where you want to go. And we know now you kind of have to mentally work so you can physically get better.
Yes, and that's another, even though it's it's a drag sitting in the same environment, same room, hour after hour. I miss the freedom of just being able to move around. I miss my daily routine. So I'm trying to do that too. I'm trying to go back to doing some of the things I did, trying to keep the same. So I get up at the same time, go to sleep at the same time.
Good.
And try to keep that schedule, because I was finding I would be waking up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. And not being sleepy anymore because I'd napped, and that kind of deal.
That's true, yeah.
So that's another thing I'm trying to get back into it.
Yeah,
and not schedule. Even though I'm not going to be back to my normal schedule for another several weeks, but I want to, I don't want to lose it.
Okay.
So that I can go ahead and get up early in the morning, get to work, do the things, make the time.
That's smart. Keeping some normalcy is pretty good. That's a good thing to keep your mental health strong and balanced. Are you a reader? Do you like to read?
No, actually, I'm not much of a reader because of my eyesight. Okay. It's funny though, but that makes me work harder at other things.
Okay.
I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
Somewhat, and so that's another kind of a challenge.
Okay.
I do read off my tablet, and I work on computers and that kind of stuff all the time.
Okay.
But there you adjust it.
So what are you doing right now for just as something to get your mind away from?
Well, actually, the handheld devices, the tablets and that kind of stuff. I work with computers, but I never did work with those so much. So I'm learning more about how to just use your smartphone that I never do before. And I do get back on my computer. Now, the company I work for and taking a leave, they're real strict. You cannot work because if you're taking a leave of absence and then you work, there are legal issues involved and that kind of stuff. So I cannot log on to their network, but I have other things I can teach myself. Wow, so I'm not going to waste what I'm doing there by not doing anything at all. Okay. And that goes right back to maintaining a schedule.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much not to waste the time I have. Because now I have a bunch of free time. So
we're going to start dropping by and visiting. So got some people that want to come by and say hi. And
that's no problem.
Cool.
That's always welcome.
We'll bring you some healthy food too. No more cake. No more cake.
No more cake.
We'll make it taste good, but it'll be healthy for you. How about that?
Oh, that's fine.
Good.
That's fine.
Good.
It's that's just what you have to do.
Yes.
Because I don't want the weight. Through this all, I have dropped a good 15 pounds.
Good.
And
That's
so it's not the best way to lose weight, but why waste the pounds?
Well,
Keep it off.
Exactly. Right now, we talked about cortisol levels, because actually exercising can increase your cortisol levels more than relaxing, or at least being sedentary. So if you eat healthy, you can actually drop more weight. So if we get you on a really good regimen, and while you're here, you might as well take the time and do what we got to do. So,
absolutely.
and move forward.
Yeah, just like I said, don't waste what you got.
Exactly.
And you only have so much.
Yep.
This wasn't my plan, but it's what's dealt, and to keep moving on.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknown. It's not as scary as it was the very first time they used those couple words.
Yeah.
You have this, and I was like just shocked. I was like, no, that doesn't go with my name.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, not at all. I mean, that's the other people. And in those first few days, you got the whole, the cloud over you. Do I got 6 months, 9 months? Or my mother passed with breast cancer, and she had a 7-year-old deal. So I'm well aware of all the stages, and so that comes flying back into my head, And who knows? Maybe it is.
Yeah.
But now just dealing with it and understanding it. It's not even close to what it was in that first week.
Yeah.
And stuff. Of course, I've had an MRI, I've had a CAT scan. All of them are showing nothing or minimal. In fact, nothing. The only thing that showed it was the lymph nodes. So, but you learn this is it. Now, which way we're going to go? So
I like it.
Not anything to be really fearful now. Wait until don't project. Again, don't diagnose.
Definitely, yeah. Sometimes you start reading too much, and that'll freak you out. And
like I said, I quit researching it because first of all, most of the words were too much, too large, and didn't really know what they meant. Anyways,
so like I said, we're gonna, our support system and our people around are gonna. A lot of people are really excited to be a part of you getting better and supporting you. And
it's like I said, I didn't realize a few things. MRSA. That was another shocker. In fact, I actually hated that a little bit more because that one's so contagious.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that running around with a blister on my foot was that much of a stupid thing to do without keeping it covered.
Yeah.
And I hate to think about it, picking it up and then spreading it.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
Yeah.
Just really kind of grosses me out.
Yeah.
But knowing more about it, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It is just one of the nasty modern plagues that our society is, given ourselves because of the use of antibiotics, over antibiotics.
Yep.
These guys are really strong. In the hospital, I was in quarantine.
Wow.
With it. That was another big concern for them. Anybody that visited me had to gown up with gloves and mask, and they wanted to be sure that
take the precautions.
Yeah. So that was kind of goofy. Some people didn't.
Yeah.
But they was all there, and they're really supposed to.
Yeah.
And that right there is big. I mean, if your kid has a scratch and he goes to school, there's a high, it's a good chance he could pick up MRSA.
Yeah.
Or something else that's nasty like that. And there's several types. Hospitals now are very dangerous because of this kind of stuff. And they were telling me and warning me about that too. So for me, it was kind of, good. In isolation, quarantine.
Definitely eye-openers, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but as I was telling somebody that the MRSA actually got me to the doctor a little quicker.
Yeah.
Because it got infected and it started hurting more. And I got in.
It was almost a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
huh?
It was. But it is, and I've read up on that one a little bit, and people die of that too.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? These little super bugs that start off a little bit of an infected blister on your foot? No, it happens.
Yeah.
It gets in your bones, and then you're really screwed.
Yeah.
So that was another big eye opener. And then people, you know, probably parents know more about it now because, you know, my kid's grown, but it is one of the bigger things to be aware of because, you know, I was talking to people where their kids had to be, you know, weeks in the hospital on IV and antibiotics being intravenous to get them healthy. And it was a shock, you know. So that was another, if I was going to tell anybody anything is look out for that. You know, cancer can crop up, you know, a number of different ways, but to pick up something that infective, you know, you can take precautions, I guess is what I'm saying.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, to save yourself from it.
Yep.
Cancer, yeah, you know, you can drink cranberry juice, whatever, and hope you don't get it. But this other stuff, no.
Yeah.
You can be smart. Wash your hands thoroughly and all that good stuff that they say.
Well, we are excited to, you know, like I said, help you and, you know, want to keep you from feeling like it's an alone feeling sometimes, I would imagine.
Sometimes.
You know.
Sometimes. But I do have other, you know, support groups that are there with me.
Good.
People give me rides to the doctor. Dana gives me rides to the doctor.
Great.
And stuff. But that's still, I mean, it's like,
Yeah. When you're used to going.
Yeah, my truck won't even start right now.
Yeah?
Because I let it sit too long. I don't know what's going on.
We thank you for letting us come in and, you know, share the story with everyone. And
I hope it helps somebody.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm not, you know, I'm open about it. And it's something for everybody to learn.
Yes.
So as I learn, might as well share the knowledge.
Yes. And you guys out there who are watching, if you have any information that you'd like to give Rick or post on this video, please feel free to do so. That way he doesn't freak out reading all this crap on the internet. And there's a lot better options out there for us to, right?
Well, I'm laughing because just don't tell me Brussels sprouts will cure everything.
Exactly, right? So thank you so much, and
yeah, no problem.
We'll talk to you soon.
And yeah, just let everybody know I'll be back.
Will do. Thank you, Rick. We appreciate you letting us come into your home, and we look forward to seeing you soon. And that's it, guys. This is Eric Selvian, Fitness, Food, and Fashion. We're out of here.